right? Well, exercising, of course, one of the most common New Year's resolutions. In fact, I was reading that those who make New Year's resolutions in that group, 50% said that their top resolution was to exercise more. So we know how popular a resolution it is. But tackling that resolution during a pandemic may be a little bit more tricky. So joining us to discuss is Sara, President and CEO of Live Well Exercise Clinic. Sara, thanks for joining us. How have you seen the pandemic impact people's health habits? And I know that this has been, in some cases, for better, but some for worse. It really does vary person to person.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think that the fitness industry here in BC, we have been really committed to really helping people to just stick with, again, those fundamental habits that maybe people already had coming into this pandemic. And for many people, this gave them the time to actually start to exercise, start to think about fitness. And for other people, it made them more sedentary. And so as a fitness industry, we really had to kind of look at how can we accommodate all different people at all different stages and all different ages to be active. And specifically for us at Live Well, we work with people who have health concerns, and our typical member is over the age of 40. And, we actually know that during this pandemic, older aged adults actually stuck with fitness. They are one of the generations of people who they really stuck with fitness and stayed committed. And I think that there is a lot of really good science and reasons for that, which ultimately comes down to their personal purpose and why for actually choosing fitness and choosing to exercise is choosing health. Right? And it's about something much more than, say, six-pack abs or how many push-ups we can do, or even running a marathon as fast as we can. And there's no problem with those goals. But when we actually have something that is deep-rooted and intrinsic and almost strikes an emotional chord in us, we are far more likely to stay committed to that. And therefore, when there are those hard days, when there are curveballs thrown at us, like a global pandemic, we are more likely to stick with our exercise routine.
Yeah, I think a lot of us gave up on six-pack abs a long time ago.
Totally.
But, I consider that it is important to get exercise on a regular basis because I know that it's important for a lot of unseen things, right? Preventative for certain diseases. It's good for mental health as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we saw this past year that mental health became a huge conversation. And for us in the fitness industry, of course, we know that physical fitness has a huge impact on mental health, and that literally in as little as 10 minutes of activity, in as little as 10 minutes of movement, and I'm not talking about running as fast as you can on the treadmill, I'm talking about walking, I'm talking about even low intensity fitness. We know that we actually change the chemistry and physiology of our brain, and we can actually combat things like depression, stress, or anxiety. And I think it's really important for us to know that in large-scale clinical trials, exercise has shown to be just as effective as antidepressant medication. So in this whole conversation of mental health, I know for us, I'm the co-chair with Carl Ulmer from Club 16 and She's Fit. We have come together to bring together over 100 fitness facilities in BC for us to really come together as an industry to come alongside one another to support each other. This has been a very tough time on the fitness industry, and the fitness industry is truly here to have our doors open so that people can come in, be physically fit, and exercise for their mental health. And, we have continued to keep British Columbians safe in our fitness facilities. And I think it's something for us to really celebrate here in British Columbia is the very, very low level of transmission rate. I mean, globally, we're seeing a 0.06% rate of COVID cases within fitness facilities, and BC is a leader in that. And so I think that we should be really proud of what we've done here in BC, and that we have been able to keep our doors open so people can be fit and can prepare for the new year and can combat those things like depression, stress, and anxiety in a real and meaningful way.
And when we talk about the impacts that the pandemic has had on the gym and fitness industry, I mean, January typically is a month where it is quite profitable to be in the fitness industry. It's a good financial time for the fitness industry when everyone's making those New Year's resolutions. How do you think that even your operation will be impacted by the pandemic?
Yeah. At Live Well specifically, we really wanted to look at how can we meet our members where they're at through all stages of this pandemic and through all stages of where an individual was feeling their own comfort level with this. So, we created on demand, so, people could do online. We also created live streaming where people can actually stream in and work with their clinician, with their team, and with their health coach. And then, when we have been allowed to have our doors open, our members have been able to come in clinic. And what we have found is that it has allowed people to actually make those habits a little bit stickier because they have all of these different ways now that they can engage in fitness that they didn't consider before, right? I think that if we'd introduced live streaming and on demand to our population a year ago outside of this pandemic, it's not something that would have stuck. But because it was at some times the only option to us, it has now opened the doors to when I'm on vacation, when I'm, out taking care of my grandkids and staying at my grandkids for a week, I can continue to be fit because I can go online, I can live stream. But I know, I see, and I believe that people are craving that human connection. And I see it in our clinics because when members live stream in, and there was a member in our clinic, and I just saw this the other day, where a member ran up to the screen where people are zooming in and said, "Oh my gosh, Susan, it's so nice to see you. I haven't seen your face in ages. I can't wait to see you back in here in person." And I think that as much as we have had all of this fundamental engagement online, virtually, and so forth, that absolutely had to happen in 2021, our human spirit is craving human connection. And that is where I know that in 2021, fitness is the comeback kid. People are already starting to make a wave of going, how can I be physically fit? I know that it's a safe environment. I want to be where there are other people, even though we're physically distanced and not doing things together. I need that human connection. And ultimately, it is where we find community and where we find empathy and where we find belonging is where we actually start this cycle of consistency and accountability, and those are the things that keep us engaged in fitness. So I'm really excited about 2021 for the fitness industry in BC and in Canada, because I think that what we can provide Canadians is exactly what people are looking for, and that is a meaningful fitness opportunity with human connection and with community. And what I've seen happen across this nation as part of the Fitness Industry Council of Canada, where we've all come together, is absolutely an industry who cares about the health of their members. And I'm really, really proud to be part of that movement.
Sara, before I let you go, do you have any quick advice for an exercise or two that's simple that people can do at home that they could try to kick off a healthier January?
Yeah, I think that, my biggest tip would be, first of all, you're not alone. There are so many people in the same boat as you. And so start low, move slow. This isn't an all or nothing type of a journey. Really stop looking for quick fixes. Stop looking for those solutions out there that might work for you, and turn inwards and know that ultimately you are the solution, and it's us who have to put the work in. And this is part of self-care. And I think that self-care has never been more of a conversation than it is today. And self-care starts with us. That doesn't mean it doesn't have hard work attached to it sometimes. But ultimately, knowing that as little as 10 minutes of activity can have an impact on your health, and that exercise has a dose-response relationship. The more you do, the more benefits that you see. But ultimately, I think that it's about really committing to yourself, committing for the long term, and focusing on the behaviors on a daily basis, not on the outcomes, not on what the scale says, not on how many push-ups you can do, but on your behaviors. Did you make a healthy lunch today? Did you get in your activity, whether it was 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or an hour? It doesn't matter. Celebrate your habits, not the outcomes. Habits will breed the outcomes, but celebrate the habits, because that's what we have control over. And when we celebrate ourselves, we're actually putting ourselves on a path of success. And lastly, give up the all or nothing thinking. We absolutely have to abandon it. It causes us to fizzle out and quit. So just really every single day, just going at it and celebrating the things that you did well. And honestly, that is the best advice that I can give somebody who's embarking in 2021, who's looking to move from sedentary to active in order to improve their health. You know you're not alone. Give up your all or nothing thinking and focus and celebrate those behaviors you do that are great behaviors on a daily basis.
Sara, that is fantastic advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Sara Hodson, President and CEO of Live Well Exercise Clinic. You're listening to The Jill Bennett Show. I'm your guest host, Nikki Reitmeyer, and we'll have more coming up next right here on 980 CKNW.